Hey, Scott Radigan here, and this week we're talking 3 reasons why you should not get legal documents from the internet or a friend. I know it's tempting as you're either just starting out or you're expanding and you need to find something that will cover you and not cost 15, 20, $25,000. So I understand that most people go to Facebook and Google, and that turns into finding some templates, possibly, or borrowing them from a friend on Facebook or a colleague. But today we're going to talk about 3 reasons why you should not do that, and some other alternatives you can consider that are good, cost effective, and will cover you completely. So let's jump right in. The whole reason Functional Lawyer exists is that the alternative to a law firm was nothing. And that nothing often ends up being Google, Facebook, and peers. I call it the worst law firm on the planet, Google, Facebook, and peers. You can equate it to WebMD or your patients coming in and saying, well, I Googled this thing and it said that I shouldn't eat nightshades, or Tom Brady doesn't eat nightshades. Is that true for me? Should I do that? When in fact, they are deficient in nightshades. I'm just making this up, but they're deficient in nightshades, and that's absolutely the wrong diet for them, right? So it's similar to that, where if you go out to the internet and find something random, sounds good to you because you don't know the difference, you didn't go to law school and you don't have that training, is the same as your patients or prospective patients coming in and saying, does a potato have gluten in it? Can I eat French fries from McDonald's? What's wrong with Diet Coke? It says diet, right? So there's a lot of information that from professional to professional just doesn't cut it on Google or Facebook. So the number one reason why you shouldn't borrow or steal somebody's document is that it likely isn't very good, right? Even if they claim that they got it from an attorney or a friend of a friend who's an attorney, you don't know who that attorney is, if they even do healthcare law. I mean, just like doctors and health professionals, lawyers have their specialties. For instance, I know just enough about trademark law to talk about it, but I couldn't file a trademark application because that's a specialty practice. Similarly, you want to make sure that you're getting your documents from a trusted source. I've seen a lot of them out there that come for free with some EMRs or that come with some educational programs, and they're okay, but at best and bad at worst. So the number one reason is that if it's not written for functional medicine providers by a trusted source, it's probably not doing what you think it's doing. Number two, if you're getting it from a colleague or a friend, it's possible that you're stealing somebody else's work. So they paid, if they went to a law firm at all, but you don't know where they got it from. But if they went to a law firm or they paid someone like me for a template that was really good and for them, sharing it is actually a violation of copyright, or it could be a violation of copyright if it's a law firm, and it's definitely a copyright violation if they're sharing works from me or another person like me. So one is you don't want to get yourself in trouble, or your friend could get in trouble too for violating their license or the copyright of the author. And then finally, the third reason is that it's just not professional, right? It's not professional to find something on Google and call it a day. This is your business, and for most of you, it's your primary source of income. So just like getting malpractice, why wouldn't you invest in something that was good for you, going to protect you, and high quality? And you can do all that without breaking the bank. But most importantly, you want to treat your business like a professional business. If you treat it like it's a side hobby, or you're just a scrappy little startup and it's a little old me, then it will likely always be that. Now, if your goal isn't to become the next Mark Hyman, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to do that, but you should treat your business like a big boy business. Be professional, be a champion, if we're using sports analogies, but treat it like you are running a professional business. And so you are the CEO of this business. I know that's hard for a lot of healthcare providers, and I talk to them all the time. So it's hard to be a CEO when you've been a caretaker this whole time, but that's what you've got to do. You've got to be the CEO and run a professional business. I mean, you don't have to walk around with fake Rolexes or anything like that, but you do need to protect your income source, and it's your whole reputation as well. So I promised some alternatives to spending $25,000. And as you might have guessed, one of them is Functional Lawyer. So we have templates for functional medicine providers on top of our membership, which includes access to questions and answers from me directly. But the templates were written and reviewed by a law firm along with my input and reviewed by them. And so they are written for functional medicine providers to cover functional medicine providers. The second reason that they are better than a Google document is that they come with video instructions. So you're going to need to edit any document you get if it's a template source. If you don't know what you're doing, you're no better than your patient that is switching from French fries to baked potatoes with bacon and sour cream on them. Still no gluten, definitely dairy, but still. The point remains, you need to know how to use it. It's a tool like any other tool. If you don't know how to use it properly, then it's not doing what it's intended to do. It's probably not covering you. Your other option is to go to a law firm. And so if that's the option that you're choosing, then here are some tips on how to find a law firm that's right for you. One is ask about price transparency. So just the other week, I had someone email me and say, Scott, I heard your talk the other day, and I am one of those people that paid the $5,000 retainer. And then about 6 months later, I got a bill for another $13,000 out of the blue, kind of nowhere. So if you're going to a law firm, talk about price transparency. How much do you think this will cost in all? If they know what they're doing, if they want to be of service to you and not just view you as a client, they'll give you a ballpark number, and they ought to be right around there. But before you can be price transparent, you need to find an attorney that knows what functional medicine is. Now, I know that's it's starting to come, but still very hard to do. So as I mentioned earlier, attorneys have different specialties. Even healthcare attorneys may not know what functional medicine is or how to help you. Almost a decade ago, we went to a healthcare attorney in my firm, and I asked him for some support and some help when starting my wife's business. We ended up paying a good amount of money to us, about $2,500. I know it's not $25,000, but he didn't really help us at all. So we were just out the $2,500, which when you're first starting your business is a significant blow, right? Because there are some startup costs, significant ones that may lead more directly into your return on investment as far as getting patients, getting them in your door, and trying to make some money, or not, at least not lose money in the first year. But what I submit is that if you are not using good quality legal documents, you're in a position where you don't really trust them, you can't stand behind them. And so when someone asks for a refund or they ask you to waive a termination fee, you kind of kowtow and do it because you don't know if it's any good, if you're breaking any laws. And so I submit that if you get one that's free, it may cost you more in the long run from both a professional standpoint and giving out refunds to patients. So those are the top 3 reasons. There are many more to not get a form from somebody else or from Google or Facebook. And so if you have any questions about your forms, or if you need to know where to get new ones for you, go to functionallawyer.com, or you can always email us at info@functionallawyer.com and set up an appointment to talk to me directly. And I can help guide you navigate, pick the right forms for you, or if it's appropriate, talk about the benefits of functional lawyer membership. So with that, I wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll see you next time.